If you're anything like me, you want to create cool-looking sci-fi art that also tells a story. Well, you're in luck. With a few composition tips you'll learn here, your Midjourney images will go from an average cool-looking scene to shots with more depth, visual impact, and also feel more alive and dramatic. My name is Jeff Layerly, and in this video, I'm going to share with you 5 cool PromptCraft techniques you can use with Midjourney. These prompts are sure to level up your arsenal and give you more control over how to produce interesting and unique images. We will be using Midjourney in a web browser, and the model is standard version 6.1 with personalization turned off. Let's get started. Tip number 1, choose a strong focal point within your scene. How do we choose something to focus on when designing a prompt in Midjourney? Well, let's begin with a simple prompt like this one. A spaceship captain standing on the bridge. And here are the results. Midjourney produces a good-looking image, but when we examine it, what do you think is most important? Is it the captain, the screens and the technology, or what's in the background? At first glance, we don't get a clear understanding of what's most important. So let's fix that by focusing on the captain's face. To do that, we add a few details about the captain's facial features, his eyes, and wardrobe, and your prompt would look something like this. Spaceship captain standing on the bridge, bushy beard, bald head, dark sore eyes, high neck collar, wearing medals on chest. And here are the results. Midjourney has brought focus where we added more detail to the prompt. In this example, the captain's facial features, high neck collar, and medals worn on his chest are now clearly shown. Additionally, the spaceship bridge is softly out of focus and resting in the background, which again helps the viewer know what's most important in the image. Experiment with giving Midjourney more detailed words that instruct it to focus on specific parts of the image. Add more details after your scene prompt to capture an idea, such as hands, boots, or legs, and Midjourney will follow. Tip number 2, leveraging scene depth. Why would you want to control image depth? In the context of cinematography and composition, image depth refers to the visual illusion of 3-dimensional space within a 2-dimensional frame. Image depth creates a sense of distance, layering, and dimensionality that makes the image feel more lifelike, immersive, and dynamic. One way to utilize this concept in Midjourney is through detailing foreground, midground, and background elements within a prompt. Let's start with a simple one. Woman in a futuristic science lab. Midjourney returns a nice image that gives us a good starting place. So let's explore this idea a little further and add more detail to our prompt, defining what we want Midjourney to show us in the shot. The extended prompt may be something like this. Woman in a futuristic science lab. Foreground, shadowy laboratory equipment. Midground, female science officer inspecting test tubes. Background, illuminated doorway revealing alien animal parasite. And here are our results. You can really feel the depth in these images. Midjourney has rendered some darkened equipment in the foreground, the science officer further away and in focus, and the alien parasite looks like it's contained in the back wall of the room. This creates an illusion of image depth, and the viewer is invited to take a glance inside. Isn't it cool that Midjourney understands these concepts in its language model? I hope you're as excited about the possibilities as I am. Experiment with foreground, midground, and background ideas in your own Midjourney prompts. Have fun as the creative possibilities are truly endless. What about managing lighting in our scenes? The next tip explores how lighting helps our images tell a story. Tip number 3, cinematic lighting. You might be asking, what exactly is cinematic lighting anyway? It's a great question, worthy of our study. So I'll hand the answer off to veteran cinematographer Roger Deakins, who has over 30 films to his credit, including Blade Runner 2049. Mr. Deakins says, cinematography is not about how beautiful the image is. It's about how the image tells the story. The light is your emotional guide. Let's pursue this idea that lighting is an emotional guide. We'll start with a basic scene prompt and then build some emotion and feelings into it. So our starting prompt may look something like male space pilot wearing flight suit, confident eyes, bushy beard, holding helmet, boots on metal catwalk. Midjourney returns some cool images. The lighting looks good, yet the mood is fairly serene. With our main characters, not much story going on or emotion happening here. So, what emotion can we start to explore and use light to help express that emotion? Let's add to our prompt a specific character expression and one backlighting color, then see what Midjourney renders. Let's try this one. Male space pilot wearing flight suit, frightened, terrified eyes, bushy beard, holding helmet, boots on metal catwalk, red backlighting. Midjourney returns images showing us the character's emotional expression, and he looks pretty scared. Associated with the red backlighting, it feels like the main character is in imminent danger for his life. Let's try another one. Male space pilot wearing flight suit, yelling focused eyes, bushy beard, holding helmet, boots on metal catwalk, yellow backlighting. The pilot appears as if he's yelling out orders, and the yellow backlighting signals caution, like a fire has broken out, or there's an unsafe ship condition. Alrighty, one more prompt variation. Male space pilot wearing flight suit, tearing, crying eyes, bushy beard, holding helmet, boots on metal catwalk, green backlighting. Now, our pilot appears as if a sense of defeat has overtaken him. The green backlighting feels like radiation or lethal toxin has weakened him, both physically and mentally. Pretty cool what an expression of the character's eyes and a simple backlight can accomplish. A big thank you to Roger Deakins for your great cinematography advice. When designing your own prompts with character emotion and backlighting, try to keep it simple and avoid complexity. One emotion and one backlighting color in the prompt makes it easy for Midjourney to understand. Try these ideas for yourself, and you'll be creating powerful, emotionally charged cinematic masterpieces. We're through tip number 3, and I want to thank you for liking this video. And you must really want to level up your game, because this next tip will help you create images from an otherworldly perspective. Tip number 4, dynamic angles. In the AI community, there's plenty of advice of how to best manipulate camera angles. After much personal trial and error, I found that using camera prompts like worm's eye view, overhead angle, ground level looking up, and drone view generate random and poor results. Let me illustrate by starting with a simple prompt. Overhead view angle, tilting downwards, male uniformed science officer holding holographic tablet. Midjourney provides an overhead view, but these images are too random for my liking. Let's try adding to our prompt some extra image information about the background. More specifically, what would we like to see the science officer standing on, which in this case would be a floor. So we add to the prompt, background concrete floor tiles. Now this looks much better. There's an image consistency, and Midjourney understands the camera angle must be looking down towards the floor. Pretty cool. But what about the opposite view and looking upwards? Let's try this prompt. Low ground view angle, tilting upwards, female assassin, dark black eyes, holding laser blaster. In these results, it's obvious Midjourney is not giving us the camera angle we asked for. The camera is eye level to the character rather than ground level looking upwards. Let's add a background behind the character. Background, futuristic skyscraper, sky, clouds, birds flying. Now this is really working. The camera is positioned down underneath the character looking upwards towards the sky. We just needed to prompt Midjourney what to render behind the character, and the background keywords are opposite to where we wanted Midjourney to position the camera. Very cool stuff. In your own prompts, get creative with high and low angles, but also remember to add a background for what you want Midjourney to render. For indoor scenes, you might try describing a floor when looking down or a ceiling when looking up. For exterior shots looking downwards, you might describe sidewalk pavement, or when looking upwards, try a background with the moon and stars. Let your creativity guide you. In our final tip, we will explore liminal spaces for your images, and I hope you take that in a negative way. Tip number 5, liminal space. Liminal space in art refers to places or states that exist between two conditions, often evoking feelings of eeriness or transition. These spaces, such as empty hallways or abandoned buildings, capture a sense of the in-between. A liminal space can provoke emotional responses related to change and uncertainty. This sounds like a very interesting story concept to explore. As usual, we will start with a basic prompt and build from there. Starship hangar bay, large empty space. The images we get appear open and spacious, though they look fairly simple in their design elements. To keep the idea of the liminal space going, we won't prompt Midjourney to create any objects in the open space, but instead we can add details to what we want the edges of the room to look like. We might expand our prompt like this. Dark, abandoned starship hangar bay, large empty space, hanging cords and wires from ceiling, interlocking floor tiles, distant control panels, conduit tubes, yellow indicator lights. The empty space now looks more practical, like a garage that's been used for starship maintenance. The room is darkened as if the place has been shut down for the day. The ceiling has those dangling cables that might connect to a ship's computers. The walls have added purpose and meaning with the control panels and lights. Midjourney does a good job of rendering empty spaces with detail in the edges. But is it really a liminal space? I'll leave that up to you. When designing your own prompts for open or liminal spaces, start simple, then think about adding detail for walls, floors, and ceilings. Customize your space any way you want it by adding windows, doors, hatches, and bulkheads that create interesting in-between story ideas. And that's our last tip for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and come away with a few ideas that will help your creativity. Please leave a comment and let me know what you would like to see in a future video, and keep creating new worlds.